everybody, and welcome back to the Stanley Parable, where things are different.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
I got
Stanley
balloons
decided
now.
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed the memo.
bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
The reassurance bucket. Bucket, you want to see my room? Good. Why do I has bucket? Come on, bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door.
Let's listen to him. For old time's sake. Bucket.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
What if... I mean, obviously it changes dialogues.
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy,
Exactly.
why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss
Weird.
would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe
I just want to see if this ending is
He
different.
looked down at the bucket in his arms.
Yeah.
Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all.
How does a
That's
bucket
strange,
return
Stanley
one's
thought.
gaze?
Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort.
Okay.
And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket.
Oh my
Someone
God.
else's bucket, perhaps. How
Holy
did I
shit.
end up with someone
How
else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts
Oh
of
my
bizarre
God.
hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket.
No, the bucket.
Indeed. Now he noticed the
Oh,
rules were repeating,
no.
which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground.
What?
Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad.
The
Where is
bucket.
it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
The bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing
Bucket.
by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Oh my God.
Come to me,
There's so many
Stanley.
buckets.
Find me.
He
Jesus.
had to find the bucket. He
Where
had
is
to return
Bucket?
to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity.
Oh,
And then
Bucket.
suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from.
My mind.
The real bucket was inside of him all along.
Show me a mirror.
It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
No. Oh, bucket.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Is it still the same as it
Mariella
was
woke up on a
last
day
time?
like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work.
Yes, the bucket.
But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man
Bucket.
who had stumbled through town, talking
Why?
and
Why is
screaming
it
to himself,
bucket?
and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away,
the same
she knew
ending,
what the
but with
problem
bucket.
was. This man had no bucket. Of course, he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have
Course,
been prevented
because he didn't
if
have his
only he'd
bucket.
taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place.
Aw.
How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had
Bucket.
no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything.
Yes, of
Heck,
course.
she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
What? What? Oh.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Bucket.
What could Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Oh.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest.
Okay, I'm gonna
and
listen
entered
to
the
him.
door on his left.
We're gonna leave. We're gonna leave Bucket.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and
Let's
comfort
not
now
do
more
fire.
than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
How about in here?
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it?
What?
The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel
Oh.
that, can't you? The
Yes.
aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket.
This is my
I
bucket.
can feel it now.
This is my bucket.
It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say
Fuck
here.
you, broom.
It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies.
This is my bucket.
Stanley, don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be
Of course.
strong.
I
This is
must
your
be.
bucket.
This is my
This
bucket.
is your companion and lifelong friend.
Yes.
You can't hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into name calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk that it has
Name
to resort
calling?
to this stream of petty
What?
insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket?
Fuck you.
Stanley,
This is my
I
bucket.
never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends?
Excuse
That your
me.
relationship is purely superficial and convenient?
How
that your
dare
life
you?
is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially
How
enticing
dare.
manner? Well, I never.
Yeah.
Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments.
Fuck you.
Expand on the wide variety
dare you.
of experiences you and the bucket have shared together.
Uh-oh.
Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have
I
changed
love
and
my
evolved
bucket.
over the years.
Yes.
Let him have it.
Is this working?
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all.
Oh, sure.
Here we go.
There we go.
There. Now it's settled.
It's mine
No
now.
more debate, no more discussion.
Yeah, fuck you, broom
Take a
closet.
hike,
This is
broom closet,
my
with
bucket.
All your meandering philosophical diatribes about the need.
Coming to a staircase,
Yeah.
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs.
We're going
to
up
the
to the boss's office. There's the executive bathroom and everything.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation,
Oh,
Stanley
bucket.
may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence of the
Oh,
bucket.
my bucket.
Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light
Oh,
pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always.
what's the
The
password?
bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable.
Yeah, this is my
At
bucket.
this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket
Oh, yeah.
did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
I nailed it.
Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the
Wow.
bucket knew all along? Was the bucket
Whoa.
guiding him?
It's dark as
Yes.
shit. Okay.
This is certainly the most logical explanation.
Yes, the bucket is guiding me.
Found
Yoink.
one of them. One of the miniature Stanley
Hell
figurines.
yeah.
Remember, no reward for collecting all of these. Only the
Course.
intrinsic pleasure of a job well done.
Yeah,
You can't
feels
buy
good.
that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come
I
across one
will.
of these
I
beautiful
love it so
figurines.
much. Thank you. Alright. Come on, let's go, bucket. So, I guess the dialogue's different because I have the bucket
The
now.
elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep
Oh.
himself together, if not for the bucket.
I love
Soothing
my
him,
bucket.
comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley.
Okay.
Everything will be fine.
Thank you, bucket. I love you, bucket.
Stanley and the bucket walked
Jesus.
straight ahead through the large door that read
mind control facility.
I'm gonna go this way. I haven't been down this
Although
way.
This passageway had the word escape written on it. The truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Would we? You sure about that?
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Sure.
At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward
To
into
death.
a very painful death for each of them.
Yes. To death. Till death do us part. Oh, where am I? Okay. Oh, bucket. Save me, bucket. Save me, bucket. Oh.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be.
Yeah, not helpful,
It
bucket.
puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death?
Yeah.
This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere.
I'll be fine.
Farewell, Stanley.
Never mind. Oh, bucket.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a
Who are
single
you?
visceral instant,
New
the bucket's
narrator.
life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
Oh. But we're not. Stanley.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's
Yes.
true that all buckets are radiant in their own way,
Really?
but this one stood above the rest.
Oh, tell me
It was
why.
a glorious bucket to behold.
Oh. The bucket welcoming you to the grand exhibit. You're standing at the precipice of knowledge, much like a bucket itself. Human mind is frequently empty within. Carver. Oh my god. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge to really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you in the world? Will you accept with an open mind that may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? You will change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue living as you were in ignorance and darkness? Tell me about the bucket.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris
Photography of
that
25
blinded him?
buckets, the greatest
Can you
number of
see
buckets
that
ever
the
captured on
bucket
camera.
is far more noble than Stanley will
I
ever
think that might be
in
more
his
than
short
25
life.
buckets, but okay. A bucket with two handles. Bucket is depicted as having two handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens of people are put to death attempting it. Interesting. I want to learn about the bucket. Oh, Inferno Bucket. Replica of Inferno Bucket, which is the medieval era, was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet in spite of it all, the simple fact remains no one can control a bucket. Oh, the stress bucket. You put it in. Presented without commentary. Wow. Stress equals level of the bucket. Size and strength of bucket. Rest and relaxation. It's the holes in the bucket. Huh. The more you know, I'm learning about buckets. Cave drawings. While we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know for how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of bucket, by which time the bucket has likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket has allowed itself to be used, having judged humanity be worthy of its treasures. Whoa. What?
No man can own a bucket.
Of course
And
not.
certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one.
Nah.
It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that of always out of reach. This distance inevitably is for our own good. Bucket. I took it. My bucket.
But there is something we can do.
What?
Something we can do together, you and I.
This
that
new
will right
narrator.
this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler.
What?
Commander of a new world,
Yes, of
a new
course.
vision.
I accept Bucket as my Lord and Savior. Oh. Oh, Bucket.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to
Fine.
his chest
I'll go
and
this way.
entered the door on his left.
Whoa. Huh. Trust the completionist instinct. Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Of course, yeah. Upstairs. Boss's office. Oh, wait. Let me check if there's a Stanley boy in here. Hell yeah, there is.
Another miniature Stanley
Yay!
figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands?
There you go.
Stanley figs. What about Stanlerines?
Stanlerines.
Yes, I think I like
Yes.
that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Yay! Okay. Sure.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light
Tell me.
pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it.
Yeah, so tell me about
The
the...
two of them were inseparable.
Ah.
At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with
Of
the
course.
bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
Tell me the
Nor in his
passcode.
bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
I was close.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Oh.
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Okay, now I listen. Go to the mind control room. And we try to leave with Bucket.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Okay. Bing bonk.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley
will
and the
find out.
bucket both wondered to themselves.
Lights.
Monitors jumped
Camera.
to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this. and
Have
it
you
very
seen-
nearly burst into tears. as
Bucket,
Stanley
don't
cradled
cry.
it Gently,
Don't cry,
reassuring it
Bucket.
that everything would be fine.
Yeah.
Was
It's
the
okay,
bucket under
Bucket.
the mind control facility's influence as well?
Oh,
Had
I
the
never
bucket
thought
been
about
told
that.
to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place?
Yeah, that is a good
These
question.
questions raised furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Alright, let's go, Bucket.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it.
Yes, we must
His
go.
own life in someone else's control. Never! He
Yes.
squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
I trust Bucket.
But here was
Whoa.
the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Okay. Let's do it, Bucket.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
I don't know.
Yes,
Whoa.
they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss
Yeah.
the kind of life they wanted to live.
I want to
once they
marry you,
stepped through
Bucket.
this massive door. The bucket
You were
wanted
there
to
for-
learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth.
Sneeze in
Both
every
wanted to
country.
begin watching a movie, any movie, but
Oh.
then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a
Freaks.
simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to
Aw.
trust, to support. What? Wait. What was happening?
Yeah,
Why had the door stopped?
it's different.
Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. And the facility
No.
itself recognized the incredible calming
No.
presence of the bucket, needed the
No.
soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket.
No.
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 Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms.
God
Not
damn
while
it.
this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room.
Damn.
But at least he has the
I
bucket.
have Bucket.
To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as
Yeesh.
I have my bucket with me, right?
They're gonna
I'll
take
be okay,
Bucket.
won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
What? What am I finding out? Oh, okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Warmth
Bucket.
spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
This is different.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling
Okay.
him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Was it?
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
But I don't wanna.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go
Okay.
to the cargo lift. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Okay, Bucket.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to
I
think
believe
about
in
this
Bucket.
obvious fact.
That's
He
fine.
was firmly
I believe in
convinced
him.
that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
What is that? I want that. How do I get over there?
In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
It's not a dark room, but okay. Oh, that dark room. Okay. Darkness.
Now pick up the...
Okay, I picked up the phone bucket. I listened to you.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley
Oh.
a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And
Jazz
then,
music.
very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Bucket. Hello, Stanley. This means your bucket. Press N. Take
The
the work.
Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship.
Okay,
It
bucket.
doesn't literally talk and give you orders.
I'm showing you my
Whatever
room.
Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him
Yeah.
is just in his head.
This is where I work. Take me back to home with you.
Lately,
Okay,
I've
bucket.
been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this,
Bucket,
obsessing
you're not on
over
the
an
couch?
inanimate metal object?
Bucket.
I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Bucket. Go back to work.
Well, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think. It can't talk.
This is my
All it
bucket.
will ever
It is
truly
my
do
friend.
for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different
Don't tell me
location.
that.
That's it.
How dare you?
It doesn't do anything else.
Excuse me. Don't listen to the loud man. Press G to go back home. Oh, this
You
is...
see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know,
See the
once upon a time it was me he took orders
bucket.
from. Me he
I love you,
trusted and
bucket.
listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. His stupid
This is
hunted
not bad
metal.
of a apartment. Hard to ignore anyone in your life except for Bucket.
It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on,
I love
he's
you,
just going
Bucket.
to cling to this bucket, this cold,
I love you,
empty
Bucket.
this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
Yeah, see? It's nice and shiny. Believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Alright, let's go back home.
Yes, I suppose on
Bucket.
closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket.
Bucket.
It's just a little more,
Jazz.
how am I trying to say?
There's Bucket in the jazz music.
More capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be
Bucket.
better at moving an amount of water from
Bucket.
one room to another.
Be to relive the same day with me over and over.
Oh my God, what am I
Bucket.
saying?
I love you,
Better at
Bucket.
carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
'Cause it's Bucket. Go home and work.
Oh no.
Oh,
I'm having feelings.
romantic
for the
date
bucket. No,
with
no,
the
no, no, no,
bucket.
no, no. What's going on? Why do I want to be with
Sexy
the
times
bucket?
with the
Hear what the
bucket.
has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes.
No,
The bucket could tell me what to do in this
You-
troublesome
you-
situation.
this is my
Stanley,
bucket.
give me the bucket.
No.
Give it to me. Give
No.
me the bucket, Stanley.
No.
I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
My bucket. Go back to work, Stanley. Okay. What the fuck kind of ending was that?
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled.
Bucket.
He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Yeah.
And here
Is there
it was.
bucket?
Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this no? Never mind. The bucket was wrong.
I don't know. I'm just running
Stanley
around
took the door
playing
in his left
endings with the
to go back
bucket.
to the meeting room,
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
I found the way to the collectible. I want it.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between
Stanlerines.
Stanlerines and Figlies.
Figlies.
What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me
Figlies.
sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Hell yeah. Where are we going? Oh. I found a place. I found another ending.
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number,
252.
I don't even know. I've lost track.
Oh my god.
Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket,
Oh my god, we're studying the bucket.
the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up.
Bucket.
How many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling.
What do you mean? Don't you love
The
bucket?
emptiness in my chest when I set it down.
Oh god.
It doesn't make sense.
That's terrifying.
There's no explanation for it. I still
What
haven't
is
figured
going
out
on with
why I
bucket?
see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms.
Jesus.
Why everything feels so. What
He's
do
really
I
into the
do with
bucket.
this treasure. I can monetize it.
Oh. Sell bucket.
It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the
What?
bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get.
Oh shit. Cops.
What's that? Who's there?
Oh. The ghosts of the bucket. Okay. Sounds like it's done. Oh. And we're back. Well, thank you so much for watching, guys. I just had a romantic relationship with Bucket. So, see you in the next one. Bye!